Hi, this is Sean. This is going to be part of my presentation. My first slide is going to be about the Silicon Valley vulnerability. I would like to talk about how the changes that we have seen over time in the Bay Area. Specific example will be the Silicon Valley or just the Bay Area in general. So before all of the things that we see around us today were here, it used to be primarily all marshland slash the wetlands, which was kind of like an ecosystem that contained grasses, reeds, and everything. And these things were able to absorb like the rainfall into the ground, which limited floodings from the heavy rains. But as time went on, people saw this as unused land. So they kind of took advantage of it and kind of started developing the land and built all these buildings, schools, homes, the highways, and everything like that. And like today, the Bay Area is like one of the most important regions in all of California because of everything that it holds. Like we have a lot of good schools around us, a lot of beautiful homes, um, and yeah. Although this is a good thing, much of this area is kind of situated at or just above the sea level, which was it's a we are at a greater risk for flooding because of the rising sea levels. And as it was talked about in the Save the Bay article that I read, it tells us that the Bay Area is in much greater danger of flooding because of the fact that the sea levels are rising, which will threaten a lot of people, and it will be an expensive thing to deal with. Um, so wrapping up this slide, it's like the marshlands and everything, it it used to help us, but now since that we took all of that out, we are now at a great danger for all of these things that are coming our way. Then moving on to slide number 2, why this issue matters in the long run. So think about it in the long run, the fact that these types of dangers are not temporary but instead will increase in severity due to the sea level rising over time is one of the major takeaway. Like the increasing sea level like rising, it's gonna result in more and more flooding. Therefore it's gonna negatively impact our ecosystems, the infrastructures around us, the economy, and just the local communities. And it's going to be a very expensive thing to fix if all of these things were to get damaged, like the cost to repair the roadways, the structures, and everything. It's going to be an expensive thing. um though the decisions of the past kind of made a huge impact on the present day, it kind of shapes the risk. As the decision of the past, it's restricting what we can do today and in the future. So we kind of need to remember that once the development is done, it's gonna be defined as dangerous, because it's gonna be more difficult and costly to either erase or reverse the development. Okay, now moving on to slide number 3, the lessons from past history. So from this slide, like it's although it's good for a short term thing, there's gonna be a long term risk. So we kind of need to have a better long term plan that doesn't provide any risk if possible. Like it's about hold on. Okay, so the earlier development, its efforts were focused mainly on the short term economic growth. They kind of did not take into account the consequences that it was going to have to our environment or the natural systems that support it, like the wetlands that we had. And I feel like the underappreciation of the natural systems, like all of these things, I feel like we should have appreciated because it provided valuable flood protection for the bay. And once it was removed, it now created a lot of challenges that are now very hard to address. And Like these two things kind of illustrate like how building against nature, it can lead to like greater vulnerability to disasters like in the long run. And at the same time, from the article that I read, it like notes that the new solutions and the existence today are kind of beginning to exhibit those lessons. And like one example is like the emergence of nature-based solution, which like one of them would be like the wetland restoration, and it was a way to protect communities and to kind of utilize the natural environment rather than try to defeat it. So like from all of these things, like although history cannot provide like an exact solution for every problem or situation that we have, it kind of tells us a pattern. Like with having this in mind now, it's kind of clear that the choices that we made today, it's gonna influence like the future of the Bay Area and its vulnerability against like the sea level rising. Thank you.